Welcome everyone. Wow, that music transition was smooth. It wasn't that smooth last time. Well then, hello. What are we doing today? We are continuing the Snapmaker A250 build, test, unboxing, I guess. So last time we assembled everything. I'm still confused about how these rail guides work. I'm gonna have to take one apart eventually. But I feel like we should do this in like 3 steps from here on out. So today we're going to take a look at the 3D printing functionality of the printer with the 3D printing head. And then in a later stream, we can take a look at the CNC head, which is just a snap. Well, it doesn't snap. I'm still kind of miffed about that. We're going to try the CNC head and then the laser head in a separate one, but judging by the amount of warning labels on this, I'm still kind of scared about using that. Thankfully, we do have the enclosure, which is sitting on the floor here and still needs to be assembled. So yeah, actually one thing, I'm noting one thing, the printer with the laser head is going to sit in an enclosure, so it's going to be fully enclosed basically, which I guess they now need to sell the Snapmaker with the enclosure included in the EU, because otherwise you're not legally allowed to sell it with a laser head. But when you have the printer in the enclosure, I don't think you're going to take it out when you switch to 3D printing, or when you switch to milling, it would make a bit of a mess, but it would also contain the dust overall. But the guys, slow down in chat. It would make a good dust enclosure, but for 3D printing, it would also make an enclosed box where you kind of keep the warm-ish air. It's not actively heated or anything, but where you're going to keep the warm air inside. All right. Tips already flying in. Thank you, Andrew, for the tip. I've already had I put the glass over there. I've just had a matcha tea. It doesn't go that well with stroopwafels, but you do what you can. Thank you for that. Okay, so before we get started, hi to everyone in chat. I see Joel's here, a bunch of familiar faces as well. The enclosure doesn't have a bottom. Okay, we're gonna figure that out we're gonna cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, hope you guys will find this stream interesting, educative. I'm not keen on turning on the power supply, that is noisy. I have switched the filament to Prussiament Pineapple Yellow for the thumbnail mostly. So this was loaded with black Snapmaker filament, the one that was included, which I think I put over there. But yeah, yellow filament loaded. So this is already leveled. I think we ran through the leveling procedure last time using one of these leveling or calibration cards. So you can see the marks from the nozzle there. So that proves that we did level this. And I think where we stopped was installing software, slicing something, and getting something printing.
New workspace decoration fund.
Thank you for that, Thank you for that, Derek. Yeah, so my day job basically, or what kept me busy these days is just getting the new workspace, the new studio set up and built out, ready to use. So I decided after the fiasco that was the last video release to kind of slow video releases down and focus on one thing at a time. So right now I'm finishing the studio, I'm moving everything there, and the next regularly recorded video you're gonna see is gonna be from the new space. So that's my life right now. Installed some cameras today. Yeah, just the usual stuff. Anyway, not to keep you waiting, I showed you this. This is the included USB drive. I hope that is not one of those USB port busters that you so often see with these integrated ones, but it is what was included with the, there we go, with the toolkit that the Snapmaker comes with. So you get this thing, which I have no idea what it is, but you get a couple bits for the CNC head. You get a collet, hot end kit. Is that a, oh, that's actually, hold on. didn't notice that before. But you get a full spare hot end. Look at that. It actually gives us a chance to take a bit of a closer look at the hot end itself. That's all it is, and it sits in a heatsink up here, obviously. That is a very thin design. So you've got the heater cartridge going in the back here, bit of a silicone, very soft silicone sleeve, and then the thermistor in the corner down here. So that corner, that's the thermistor. Actually, I can move in closer, and you guys can get a better look. Heater cartridge, thermistor in the corner there, and that's the entire thing. Like, there is almost no heater block. It is being completely filled up with the heater cartridge and the thermistor. So that is, I mean, that's not a lot of thermal mass, but you get a full spare one. So just discovered that. And also what I discovered is they give you, for these dividers, or for this toolbox, they give you a couple extra dividers. So I don't know if this is just something they're buying and then they're just giving you these because they get them anyways, but they allow you to use this box once you're done assembling the printer and once you've used all the parts of it. So that's a pretty cool touch, I think. But yeah, where were we? Where's the filament holder? Yes, the filament holder is back there. I guess we can assemble that at some point. But for now, where's my camera? There's my camera. I'm gonna plug this into my air-gapped laptop, as always. So this is on a guest network and not signed into anything. So let's see what's on this USB drive. Okay, I was expecting a slicer or something, so I guess we're downloading this. What are we looking for? Snapmaker slicer. Which slicer do you recommend? Luban. Yeah, that's what we need. Software, Luban. Give me that. Maciek. Yeah, that is the give me that X64. That is the Snapmaker that I assembled in an earlier stream. And I stopped that stream at the point where it was like, okay, we can now try out the functionality. We know the machine is working. And I cut the stream short. I was running out of energy, and it was like 11. Which camera are we on? That one. It was like 11 p.m. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to do separate ones for 3D printing, for CNCing, and for the laser head. It's CNC.js. Huh. Davy B is asking, what materials do you use most often when using it as a CNC? So obviously I've not tested this printer yet. I've unboxed it and built it a week ago or something. So I've not used it at all. I do have a CNC, very light duty CNC mill, which I don't use that often because it doesn't have any work holding for the most part. And I'm just not in the flow for CNC. But hey, I mean, we'll figure out whether the Snapmaker is different. But chat, I mean, if you guys have any opinions on which stuff you can CNC on a Snapmaker, whether you'd want to go to aluminum with a small cutter head, or whether you're sticking to wooden MDF, let me know. Let each other know. So, Snapmaker A350, that's the one that Joel has. But I have not the original, not the A150, but the A250. I opted for that one to save some space because the 350 is pretty large. I mean, this is still, you know, a full-size printer, the 250, but just to save a bit of space. So we are on single extruder. Apparently there's a dual extruder version. 1600 milliwatt laser, 10 watt laser. Okay, that's chuchin'. So you get 10 watt, I guess, with the A250T. And then standard there's only one. All right, so you get a couple examples in Luban. Spiral vase, gift box for the laser. I read lithium-ion chess piece. No, Lion chess piece. 4 axis CNC. Yeah, I do have the 4th axis for this too. So, yeah. I guess we go to 3D printing. Input an object to drag an object to Luban. And then placement. So that's like your standard stuff. Parameters. How much do you get? Not a whole lot of slicing settings. But I guess you can switch to an advanced mode. Slice and preview, yeah, so basically the same thing. Yeah, and it does have, I guess, 3MF or something for saving a project as a full thing. Kind of reminds me of Cura at first look, but it is not. It's not Cura. It's not based on that. This is something else, and I have actually that's a Cura color scheme. And yeah, we're definitely not printing that with 6 hours. Let's see, close preview. There we go. Mr. Make is asking, you paid for it? No, I did not pay for it. I guess I forgot the disclosure about this thing. So this printer was sent to me by Snapmaker. I did not pay for it. They are not paying for the content that I make either. As usual, you know, no money changed hands. They do not get any influence in the content that I produce, etc., etc. You know the disclosure. But yeah, this is a printer that they sent and that I believe, if I remember correctly, I'm not going to have to send back. It's actually based on Cura, Bruno's saying. Okay. Looks exactly like Cura. Well, I mean, if you open up Cura, I don't know which one we have installed. Okay, Windows 11 search is horrible. Cura? 15.3? I don't have a recent Cura installed. But yeah, this does not, I mean, it kind of looks like Cura as far as the layout goes, but yeah. So let's see. Okay, so we get the full settings. Once we hit the cog up there. I'm just going to leave those alone. So we have fast print, normal quality, high quality. And you get your quick pick there. So 0.24 versus 0.16. That sounds like they've got some resolution issues on their axes, which I should be. I mean, yeah, that would make sense. That would totally make sense. Because the X, Y, and Z axes are the same. So I don't think this would be a super geared down axis for the Z axis like you'd see on another printer. So yeah, those full steps would be, what was it? Yeah, 40 or 80 microns. Could be 80 if this is really one full step. Because it does jump down quite a bit. 0.08 is a really thin layer height. Right. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Let's see how long the slice is. So for reference, that's what this computer is. Core i5, 8250, no graphics card, 8 gigs of RAM, and that was decently fast. Oh, wow, this swiveling is weird. 2 hours, 45 minutes on normal. Okay, let's switch to fast. Not gonna wait for 2.5 hours. One hour 29, that's more like it. I guess if we get bored, we can start assembling the laser enclosure. We can shove the printer aside. 11 grams, 1.5 hours, that sounds reasonable. Load G-code to workspace. What is that? Export to file. We're going to export you to the USB drive. Is that it? No confirmation? No eject? It's there, but oh, there we go. File saved. Yeah. So let's eject you just to make sure we're not getting any issues. And you rejected. We can take a deeper look at the software once this thing is printing. I'm just trying to rush to getting this thing up and running so the printer has something to do while what I'm trying to say. So that the printer is already working on the printer we're trying to get out while I ramble about other stuff. So where do I plug this in? I guess back here. Now this is awkwardly rotated so that the B camera sees it well. Yes, no, yes. So there's a USB port all the way down here. These plastic nubs are very easy to remove, which is convenient. And yeah, I guess that the USB one you wouldn't ever not use. So there's also no point in having a dust cover on that, as we already recognized with X, Y, and Z. You would never have those unplugged and would need a dust cover for that. I'm probably missing a whole lot of stuff in chat. Nero 3D is also about to go live, so a bit of competition there, but hopefully this isn't going to take too long. All right, power supply on. I'm sorry about the noise, but that's the way it is. That's interesting. So when I turned on this power supply, my screen for my teleprompter, which is underneath this camera, reset. Interesting. That's an EMI spike for you. All right. So that's booting up. Ah, there's even a little animation going on. The device has cloud printing. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, this is, so the way, if I can remember this correctly, the way this works is this is actually the full controller. This is like an Android phone without the phone. And this is your actual 3D printer host. You plug this in with the USB-C, I believe. And yeah, this is basically a full Android phone. Actually, what I'm wondering about now is, so this is in the same guest Wi-Fi as the they might not be able to talk to each other as this laptop. So can I actually? Is there a Wi-Fi? There doesn't seem to be any direct Wi-Fi connectivity here. Oh, what are you? Okay, we're gonna figure you out later. But that would make a lot of sense, since, well, there has to be some way to connect these two. We will figure that out in a second. For now, so printer is leveled, filament is loaded. We've already got some yellow goop coming out. We're just gonna hit start and see what we get. So file, that is the internal file storage, which is like an 8 GB storage, and we have 4.8 usable. USB, we have the lost directory, 3D Benchy. You can adjust settings. What can you adjust? Oh, so before you start, you can adjust it. This is way loose. I very much dislike this. You can adjust the nozzle temp for the print, the heated bed temp, the Z offset, and the speed override before you even start a print. That's nice. And no, this is not perspective. This is actually the image that it produced. So it's like a very squished, benchy look. Hasn't detected calibration data. We did that. Well, let's do what it's. Oh, it's just the auto leveling. Okay, as it says up top. So the A250T supposedly is quieter than this, but I do not know whether it's the linear axis, because this very much sounds like it's, I don't know, a Lego drivers or something, or whether it's also the power supply that is quieter in the T version. You need to go to the workspace to connect over Wi-Fi. Go back to workspace, workspace, workspace. Okay. Workspace, so while that's calibrating. Ah, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. Yeah, I guess the my routers that I'm on is actually those are actually blocking communication between Wi-Fi devices, so we might not be able to get this to work. Just in case anyone's wondering, I did update the firmware on the printer, on the screen, on the controller. I think I did that after the last 3 minutes, so this is running the newest OTA update. Yeah. Is it fitted with an Ethernet port, Allison's asking. I do not believe it is. Nope. But you might actually be able to plug in a switch, a USB switch, or a USB hub, I guess they're called. I'm not shocked into the USB port, because this should just be a regular host port. And actually, we might be able to plug in a mouse too. Remind me to try this once the print is finished. We might get a mouse cursor on the screen. Please level the reference point manually. So we have to level this again. Okay. That's good. That's just about right. So we have a bit of friction. Why are you moving up? That's the wrong way. The bed is down there. Okay, I guess it's homing again. Nicola, yeah, I do very much believe this is just a skinned Android version running on the screen that boots into something. I mean, why would you run something else on what is basically a fully capable Android device? So, what are we doing? Oh, we're heating. Okay. So there's no info on what exactly it's doing at the time, but since neither the bed nor the nozzle are at temp yet, the bed seems to be pretty slow. Unless it's not updating temperature all that regularly, but yeah, that is not a very fast heated bed. I guess I can go grab my FLIR and give you a thermal image of the printer and of the heated bed in a second. Home is top left, yeah, but the thing with home being top left is like, it makes sense they would home to that direction, but it was already home. We did the auto leveling and calibration. I would assume that it's homed for that. Both the power supply and linear axes are way more silent after the upgrade. The most loud one is a part cooling fan. Ludovico is saying, okay, so yeah, T version, definitely less noisy. So that eliminates one of my gripes about this machine. So I'm gonna go grab the FLIR real quick, and I can give you a view of what this thing looks like heating up, and once it is heated up. 1 second. You guys keep an eye on the printer for me, will you? That was the mic from one of the cameras. Should also give you a reference of how noisy all the fans and stuff are. Why is it so darn slow? I don't know. It is, oh, why is it so darn uneven though? Look at that. It's like there's a, oh, okay, this is tricky. So there is a hotspot back here, which is at 64 degrees Celsius, but let me add a cursor to this. But if you go to the center, we're at 60 degrees. Well, this camera isn't heated up yet, so it might not be totally accurate. But hotspot is at 63 in the front here. It's gonna jump up a bit. But yeah, that bed is like mega uneven. We can see that much. It's like, yeah. No priming line, yeah, so the bed ooze actually got jammed into the, what are you? Skirt, I guess, technically. Yeah, that is not a good heated bed setup at all. Okay, but it is printing, the offset looks okay. It's noisy, which we know it is. Ah, and you can actually hear yeah, so this is coming out of the, if I put my mic up to it. I don't know if it's trying to Z-hop. Let me try and feel this. No, but I think it's the, so you were able to hear, I was able to hear at least, just a bit of a noise chirp, I guess, if I have to explain it. Like a every time it made it to the end of one line. So that kind of tells me that the Z-axis is moving like a fraction of a step at the end of each line. So Z leveling, bed leveling, not super high resolution, but it should be, I mean, it should be all right. Magic. So the CNC milling is going to happen in a different stream. It is already, what time is it? 9 p.m. here. I don't know how long each of these segments are going to take. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get the 3D printer running, which we kind of see it is working pretty well. But CNC and laser stuff, different stream. Look how hot the tracks are under the bed. So what you were actually able to see on the tracks underneath the bed, that was actually a reflection of the underside of the bed. So these are completely cool to the touch. None of these axes are even remotely warm. So all you saw was this very glossy strip reflecting the deep infrared from the bed up into the camera. So these are not warm at all, just to make that clear. Yeah, it sounds like 2015 again. That's for sure. Tunkai, no, that looks good. It does not look like it's gonna fail. So this is a Build-Tack style surface. So it's that textured polycarbonate. And yeah, that's a surface that prints usually stick to extremely well. CNC and XPS foam, yeah, that could work, though I don't have any XPS foam. Neok, so that blob in front of the benchy, that right there, that is actually what the printer just shoved in there when it was starting to print. So that's the ooze while it was heating up. It didn't do a prime line, you know, regular printers, like use the corner maybe to do a prime line and to kind of wipe the nozzle clean. This guy doesn't. This guy just uses the skirt and just jams whatever oozed out of the nozzle into that skirt and fuses it to the bed. So, yeah. Dylan, no, the rails were not hot at all. Actually, I can demonstrate. That was just a reflection of the underside of the bed, because the underside of the bed is not insulated at all. So if we go in here again, so yeah, I see what you mean. So I'm gonna point the, wow, this is hard. I'm gonna point the cursor at this. So that's what you think is hot. But if you actually take a look at it from above, you guys can see that, but if you take a look at it from above, this is literally just the reflection of the bed. You can kind of see it fading in and out, calibrating. Yeah, you can kind of see how that moves. That is literally just a reflection of the underside of the bed. Is it printing the benchy solid? I'm gonna have to look that up. So, print parameters. So I used the. Hello, camera. Why are you so dark? Let me turn you on so we can see something. Layer height 0.24. Infill 15.8, wall thickness, and top bottom looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 5 solid layers roughly. Camera, come on, turn on. There we go. Oh, not that close. There you go. Infill, yes. So infill is your regular. Like I said, it feels like it's 2015 again. Your typical grid infill. No triangular, no 3D cubic. Just regular old grid. Though this being supposedly based on trihexagon, that's not what we. That is not what it's doing. So, you guys are telling me this is, so I'm going to show that message in chat here. So this is based on Cura, you guys are telling me. And yeah, we are getting the settings that you'd be used to from Cura. Infill is set to trihexagon for fast print. Do we need to, no, that's import, that's not save. Do I have to hit select so we get this? Why is this different from... Okay, we're going to see if this generates something. Nope. Still doing grid infill. So these settings apparently don't do anything. At least this one doesn't. That is weird and that is interesting. Yeah, okay. But yeah, we are doing grid infill and we're doing defaults on the fast print profile. Infill's looking alright-ish. And just unspool a little more filament. Somebody asked what these... Oh yeah, Nikre is asking. Is this a belt or rod-based printer? I actually don't know. I would assume it would be like very steep. Would be very steep, like TR8 4 starts, TR8 by 8s or something. Based on the pitches it's making, like based on what the motors sound like when it's moving, I would assume that it is a lead screw driven system, because that, yeah, it sounds very high pitched for the speed that it's going at, which is typically, I mean, an indicator of the motor having to turn pretty quickly, because it would be a lead screw. You can push it by hand, so it is not a particularly shallow lead screw like a TR8 by 2 or something, which is very hard to push by hand. Yeah, some sort of lead screw, I would guess. Has T8 lead screws. Thank you, the Bock-Steinbecker, for confirming that. Yeah, and then somebody else asked, something else. Can this do Voron speeds with these precision axes? So Mario, this is not, so these axes aren't built as precision axes technically. I mean, it doesn't, it probably does have a bit more precision, as in resolution, on the X and Y axis than a regular printer, given that it's using the same drivetrain as the Z axis. But that's the thing, when you gear down a stepper motor, it's not going to be able to get to that same top speed as you would have with a low gear, high gear. Same rotation gives you longer movement as on the Voron. So Voron belt driven, standard I think 16, 20 tooth pulleys. So that has a lot faster gearing, I'm going to say, than this thing. So you're not going to get a ton of speed out of this, but you will get a lot of force out of this thing, which you kind of need for running it as a CNC mill, router, light duty cutting device. Very light duty cutting device. So this print is starting to shape up. It's getting there. It's looking good. I mean, even the bow, yeah, part cooling looks good. Part cooling is coming just from this side, actually, I believe. Yeah. Well, I don't know what this block is for, but that is the part cooling fan outlet. And given that the bow of the Benchy on this side here is actually looking pretty good, I would say that part cooling fan is doing a fairly good job. I'm gonna go into the settings real quick and see if we can choose a different infill pattern and whether it's actually gonna generate. So I picked triangles. Ah, okay, that's working. So triangles works. It's just that when you pick trihexagon, which is the default, or maybe you have to switch off of it and then back onto it. Let's see if you now get trihexagon. And yeah, okay. Okay, so it's just that it's detecting if you make changes, and apparently it says it's on trihexagon, but the profile had grid saved. Okay. Maybe this is what they were originally going for, I don't know. Black Omega Virus, thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat. And Grüße zurück nach Frankfurt. Should I do like a German intro or something in my videos, like Stefan does? Seems to be working well for him. What is that? Oh, I had my. That is trippy. So you actually get. Yeah, I was wondering, like, what is that? Where is it? What is that imprint on the table there? But it's just where I had my phone sitting. So let's give this a quick check and see if the temperature distribution is better. But it is still Oh, that is extremely uneven. So this camera has been on for a while. I guess we can calibrate. We can run the calibrate real quick. Wow, so it's reading 45 degrees over here in the center. And at the mounting spot there, and then the hot spot is 48. Oh, that's because we dropped down to 50. Okay, so that is interesting. The set bed temperature is actually down to 50. I thought it was still at 70. So that. So yeah, cold spot 45 roughly, hot spot 48, and then the corners, I mean the very corners are down to 40, so definitely not the best choice for printing objects that go all the way out to the edge. Yeah, 40 in the center here too. So this heated bed, I'm not impressed with at all. So right in the center here, I don't know if the part cooling fan is blowing against it or something, but yeah, this is 40 degrees when it's set to 50. Oh yeah, somebody was asking about the filament, and I guess I was thinking about installing the part cooling fan. This is Prushament Pineapple Yellow from 2020. Still good, this stuff. And the print is still looking good. Yeah. How's the noise from the machine? Loud, uncomfortable. I don't like it. It takes me back to the old times. Okay, should we try and get the spool mount assembled? So I do have a box that has a spool mount in it while it's printing. So we've got the goggles. I showed you last time. So we've got the laser goggles, the brown laser goggles, and the clear CNC goggles. Neither of which work with glasses, so those are not something I can use. And then more packaging to throw out. Where'd I put the manual? Oh yeah, and for assembly I did actually grab my my T-handle. So these, way more convenient than the honestly quite good screwdriver that they're including. So that's the one they include with swappable 4mm long bits, or 4mm diameter long type bits. That's pretty good, but these are better. So I'm gonna try. Oh yeah, this view is flipped. I'm gonna try and assemble this while the machine is still doing its thing. Actually, looking at the machine, accelerations are quite high, which I guess is something you can do when you've got rigid, high torque axes like these. On a belt printer, you would get quite a bit of ringing, but with the lead screws here, they're not very elastic. You know, they're steel, so yeah. Where do we mount the? There we go. There's the install instructions. They did package that holder very carefully, though. Yeah, that is true. M4x10, more of those. Silicone, what are you? Silicone plugs. I'm curious. Huh. Are these like for, so they're including a bunch of these. Are these for plugging up unused holes in the spoil board? 4x10. Somebody commented about, yeah, Lozinka is commenting about the Prusa Minion Mark III being basically silent if you don't print fast. Well, even if you print fast and if you use stealth mode, then even the Mark III without S plus whatever upgrades is basically silent. So that's something I did in my review of the Mark III, where they sent me two, one as a kit, one as a fully assembled one. I guess Joe wasn't really sure about my skills of assembling one. But yeah, I had one printer running while I did the first bit of my review, and I was like, well, oh, by the way, there's a second one running and you didn't even hear it. So yeah, it is practically silent to a point where if you walk into a room with the machine running, that's actually not something that not just I experienced, but other folks as well. You walk into the room, you're like, oh cool, my print is done, because you don't hear the printer running. And then eventually you just realize, oh yeah, it is still running, it's just that quiet. Okay, that's the spool mount. Yellow on yellow. That's just, it's a spool mount. And it fits it right down into the printer. However, I guess one thing to note is that it is off center. So as you go, as this tool head moves up and as you get to the higher heights, print heights, do taller prints, if your print head is over here, it might end up pulling filament off the spool sideways like that. So that's why printers typically have their spool mounts more towards the center, or well, use Bowden mounts or Bowden extruders that have the spool somewhere completely different. But when the printer is working over here, that might not be a good choice. Yeah, it is not a standalone holder. These bits, as far as I'm told, these are actually work holding options for, yeah, looks like it, for CNCing. So basically, I guess this is the side that grabs down onto your stock. You add this, you add a screw through this, and then you tighten that down. That just kind of clamps down onto your part. Yeah, good power supply. Keep on pulsing. I don't know why you're pulsing. I don't know why it does that. It just does. Okay, spool mount is assembled. So let's have a quick look through the through Luban. We're missing in chat. Everything. Okay. I guess one question from Nikre again. Spec says 12,000 RPM. Would it suffice for PCB milling? Okay, so Blaine is saying it will mill PCBs. 12,000 RPM is on a very low side for anything this small. So it's an ER11 collet, which means you're mostly going to be using 1/8 of an inch tools. And, well, I guess machine rigidity wouldn't allow for much more than an 1/8 inch tool. But, yeah, PCB milling, it's gonna do it, but you would really profit from like a 30,000 RPM spindle. Yeah. It's good to see the pulse, then you know it's still alive. Yeah. Okay. So hopping back into the, should I give you guys a view of the printer in the background, like that? I guess I can always hide that when it's in the way. So. Oh, that's all the zoom we got. So laser, 4-axis laser. Ooh, you can use the 4th axis with the laser. That's pretty cool. So I guess if you have like a bottle or something that you want to engrave, you could do that. So what is workspace then? It's basically just printer host. It's just a yeah. CNC, don't save. 3-axis CNC. So 3-axis basically 2.5D. Set the work size and where the work origin will be. X is the width, Y is the height of the material. Okay, typically Z is the height, but origin can be set in any corner in the middle. Okay, you can set the origin, that's good. Object, drag an object, draw an object, that's the regular stuff. Processing mode, relief, vector. Tool paths, okay. Then exporting, we get that save project. So what I'm basically looking for here is whether this is just like a super simple one-click import and slice kind of thing, similar to what's it called? I forget the name. But there are a lot of tools that work that way, where basically you import an SVG or a DXF or something, or even an STL, and you throw it in there, and it creates a roughing pass, a finishing pass, and basically does the entire thing without your control. But this looks like you actually get some granular control about what this does. Okay, on the path outline fill. So if we select, so that looks like it's the entire thing. Let's just create something new. So that, can I not select this? Oh, it's selected now. Okay. So we can say outline on the path, so that's centered, or fill, which would be pocket basically. And if we say fill, okay, and I'm still trying to make sense of this. So toolpath 1, this is the object inside toolpath 1, and we're setting the options for this toolpath. Okay, this object was not in it. I'm gonna have to play with this. So vector is what we want. So outline, I guess this is made for outline, but couple of tools already set up. That's good. I like that they're including some pre-set up tools with settings that they know work for this machine. So 1.5. Okay, this also says 1.5. I guess this would be the 1/8 inch typical. So this is like the end mill that you're probably going to be using the most. 300 millimeters per minute, step over 0.5, that's not a lot, or step down and step over 0.5, 0.5. And it is for the default material, which, I mean, with a 0.5 step down, you are just going to wear down the tip of your tool a lot and leave a lot of it unused, but that's how it is. I guess for finishing you could do a full cut, a full depth. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play with this and figure out like how you actually get some vectors into this. Okay, and then we have the laser workspace, which I guess is going to be similar to the CNC. Yeah, same centering. And then you get a couple of options for full black and white, grayscale, engraving, vector. I guess that would be for cutting then. And halftone just with full power dots. Okay. Okay. I don't know what to make of this. I'm still gonna have to play with all the options and figure out how this works. At least I got 3D printing figured out, so yeah. Bucksteinbecker is commenting, they did some aluminum on the, okay, and retracting the message. Did some aluminum on the A350, but it's on the very edge of what the machine can do. Yeah, pretty much what I expected. I mean, I did cut aluminum on the Mendel Max, on the converted Mendel Max, which did work. It's not a great experience, but it does cut aluminum technically. So this thing being a lot more rigid, I would assume that it would be able to do aluminum, maybe not confidently, but I would assume that it would at least be able to, like, you know, nibble away at some decently millable aluminum with an 8-inch cutter. Domenico, hey, good to see you around. Things are going well. Things are going well. So slicing was okay. Print started okay. Made a huge blob at the front of the print because it doesn't do a priming line and it doesn't account for any oozing that happens during heat up, but otherwise we're looking good. It is quite noisy though. So good to have you around. Nicola's asking, hey Tom, do you remember your first print by any chance? I remember mine being a Benchy, and I remember how disappointed I was to find out it can't really swim. Yeah, Benchies don't float, they tip over. That's something that I think most people who've printed one and who've tried to use it as a boat have realized. But my first print was the back then, what's it called, mandatory, the go-to first print, which was a small shot glass. I think it's like a 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter print. It's just it's a really simple, you know, has a bottom, has some walls, that's it. So back then the thing was, when you built your first rep, which, I mean, my first printer was that Salesmendel, you would print that shot glass and toast to your successful printer build. Of course, the first print typically isn't watertight, so toasting to the printer didn't really happen because it was more, it was christening the workbench basically. But yeah, that was my first print, and then right after that we reprinted every single part of the Salesmendel because the parts we were using were done with Z-Corp gypsum. Not a great material for parts that are meant to flex, so yeah. Yeah, and back then I don't think I don't think the Benchy was really around yet. Let me see. So I think it was Daniel Nore, I think, originally uploaded the 3D Benchy to Thingiverse. Yeah, no, that's a. So, what is up with this? So I googled Thingiverse 3D Benchy. I guess Google should correct for that. It goes to the 3D Benchy website, which is cool. Goes to forum entry, goes to a 404 part, which seems to be a re-upload or something, because the 3D Benchy should be a much lower number. That's a 404. Is Thingiverse just... Wave stand, okay. And then, oh yeah. So Thingiverse is just doesn't exist anymore. So I actually don't know when the Benchy was first uploaded. Unfortunately, that's all the Zoom we have. Ah, Benchy was 2014, yeah. And if I look up when my first printer was done, that was summer of 2011. So yeah, I've been at this a good 11 years. The Yoda, yeah. I printed that one too. Those years were tricky. Mario R is asking about the E3D Revo. Is the future? Well, I made a full review of the Revo, so if you want to see my take on it, then yeah, we'll go watch that. And I go into pretty much the same thing Stefan does. Stefan does have a really nice breakdown of the thermal performance, though. Alright, so how are we holding up on print progress? An hour remaining. So nozzle temp 205, heated bed is now down to 50. Oh yeah, I was wondering about why it said well, how these numbers work. So 59 minutes 19 seconds remaining. I don't know what that goes by, whether that is an estimate based on how far the printer has come at this point, because Cura, Luban, does tell you an estimate of an hour 27-ish, and I don't know if that's just counting that down, because the elapsed time and that doesn't add up to 1 hour 27. So I don't know how this works. I would assume that Luban Cura does a pretty good estimation of print times. But yeah, an hour remaining on the fast profile. So even though the accelerations are pretty fast, the print itself is not that fast. Okay, should we try and get the laser enclosure built, or do you guys just want to chat? And I can answer some questions from you guys about stuff. Yeah, fragment, okay. Fragment, yeah, so the elapsed time is with the heat up time. It did start counting up at that point. Oh, Lassie, good to see you around. What kind of YouTube projects do I have planned? I don't have anything planned yet. My plan is to get the new studio set up. and to make sure that is all ready for me to use, and then I can start thinking about new project, because as is, I don't want to keep making videos just for the sake of making videos. That does not work out too well, as it turns out. So if you make a video about like resin labs, which you think is cool and stuff, and it's easy enough to do on the side while you're actually, you know, building out and moving into a new studio, then yeah, guess what? People don't watch it because you can't put the amount of energy into that video that you should. So I'm first going to complete that move, and then I'm going to start thinking about topics that I can do from there.
Thanks for all the videos. Been a lurker for years now.
Thank you for that, Mario. That is very kind of you. Have a pizza on me? I will. I will. God, it's been so long that I've been to a proper restaurant. COVID and everything. Hi! But thankfully you can just order some. And you can take it home. Let's start digging into the laser enclosure. Oh my god, nice are at the new studio too. So I've got this crappy dull one. I should just put a new blade in this though. So yeah, I'm sorry about blocking a view to the Benchy right now, but you guys know what a printer looks like. And if you want some printing footage, I guess you can just, you know, ow, ow, ow. You can just go back 5 minutes in the stream. Please do an assembly with the Syntratech kit. Huh. I mean, that might be something that I can do at the new studio. So I've talked to the Syntratech guys at shows while those were still, you know, a thing. And they were very open about stuff, and or at least they were very nice people to talk to. I don't know how open they were to me actually building one, but yeah, that might be something to look into. Though it's another fairly obscure topic, and I guess YouTube wants me to make mainstream 3D printer content for videos to actually perform well, and I kind of need them to perform well. This is my job. Quick start guide for the enclosure. Oh, you get the same enclosure with the 250 and the 350. Ha! Stickers. Okay, I was kind of complaining about packaging with the last one, but I mean, this just is unnecessary. Why do you have to, like, you're using this much space for what could just be a very, oh, this one has stuff attached to it. Using this much space for stuff that could just be like a, look, tiny bundle. Maybe wrap them in cling film or something if you want to protect them, but that's how much space these need, and this one has a different color anodizing. You guys seeing that? This one's darker. These have the same color. And this is also a different one. This one's labeled 4. Okay. Packaging rent. Yeah, that's how much space they actually need. And it's aluminum. It's anodized aluminum. Like, it's not gonna break during shipping. So you get another little individually packaged product. those sheet metal biddies with their own little. So there we go. I should make like a. That's how much space they need. What's it called when you lay everything out in a nice pattern? I should just make that with these parts in the least space-consuming way. Exhaust duct and clamp. That's a fan. That's a regular 24-volt fan. I think I've seen this one somewhere, this exact model. Tools and accessories. Oh, now they can package stuff compactly. This is cables. This is little plastic parts. L wrenches, hex wrenches, okay. And then screws and stuff. I'm just going to leave this in the package. And then exhaust duct. The exhaust duct and clamp. So this looks like it's an aluminum duct or something. Knolling, yes, thank you, Iron Particle. Yep, that is a black aluminum duct. And a clamp. 3.2 inches, apparently. That's a 3, not an 8. Oh, and it's another magnet phone holder. So you get the control pen you can actually use outside the enclosure. That's kind of a neat touch. So more pieces there. There's a fan mount. Fan mount, well, I guess that's a fan mount, yeah. Injection molded. Fan onto the 3.2 inch duct. That looks like a part that they're just buying that they're not making, which is good. And then more beams with some LED tape already in place. And that's interesting. This one that looks like it's custom LED strip because this is a rigid PCB. That has a connector here, a screw at either end. There you go. These are screwed into these extrusions. And then these look like, oh, these could be off-the-shelf extrusions, but they are quite hefty. Okay, I am starting to run out of space, so that's why I got a bigger studio. Front folding door. Okay, so these are some panels already assembled. Side folding door. And then these are just large panels, large acrylic panels. And that's it. Okay. I'm gonna try and make some space here. This enclosure is gonna be somewhat large, I can tell. Trying to make my way through the studio here. Quick check on the print. Print is still looking good. Not perfect, but good. Animation creations, yes, I did have a studio in the past, but there was something wrong with the air in there and I was getting breathing problems, which is not something you want to have. So I went back into this basement studio, which is not something I wanted to do, but Gotta do what you gotta do. And remaining time is 42 minutes now. Okay, that took us a while to get this thing unboxed. So let's see, is this the same manual? Did I grab, oh, I grabbed the wrong manual. We actually need that, well, it's not a manual, it's a quick start guide. So more Snapmaker stickers. Modular system, I know. Okay.
I'm a lurker, like Mario, since 7 years now. Do you remember in your top 5 videos? Keep up the good videos, streams. Maybe we...
Alright, thank you for that fragment. Well, I mean, glad you've been enjoying the content. The Tom's Guide videos. Oh yeah, that font from back then. Those were the days. Actually, if you scroll down far enough, you're gonna find some German videos. If you want to hear me talk in German, some people have asked about it, so yeah. But thank you for the tip. Very kind of you. Modular system. I know this is a modular system. That's the entire point. Before you start, these are all the parts that are included. So, okay, quick start 250, 350. That is hard to read because it is reflective. So I guess they're built in exactly the same way, but one is a bit smaller than the other. So that would be kind of wasteful to have the printer in an enclosure for a printer that would be 10 centimeters larger every direction. So we got all that. 8x20 exhaust fan. Yeah, so my choice for the smaller one was also informed by the fact that there is an enclosure around it, which means it's not just the printer itself, it's actually the printer plus the enclosure, and you already saw how ridiculously huge those panels were. Get ready. Use this. Ah, okay, so they give you the wrenches just in case you've lost the original screwdriver. Prepare the machine, unload everything. So I'm gonna worry about the machine later. And I'm just gonna try to build the enclosure by itself. And I guess it doesn't like attach to the printer and capture that much. Snapmaker feels like the Apple of 3D printing. Yeah, I mean, definitely. When they give you the exactly Apple-sized stickers and they kind of go for that same design aesthetic. Yeah. So, screws. And these unfortunately are not labeled. So the other packets that you got with the printer itself, this is one of the bags from the printer. This one's labeled M4x70. These are not. So that would make things easier. It looks like it's the same. It looks like it's the exact same packaging type. But there's 3 different fasteners, it looks like. 4, 5. Okay. So there's these M3. There's M4x20 or something. There's M4x12 maybe. M4x30, and I guess these are the ones that we need. M4x28. Short head, and these have a very flat head, so it does make them kind of unique. And then you get a couple of, oh, sorry about that. M3, M4x10 or 12, M4x18 or 20, and then these are, I think, the 28s. These are a bit longer. These we will need. quick check up on the print. It's still a half printed benchy. So all these beams are individually labeled. They have an engraved type to them. So let me see. So I guess we need the -1, -3, -1. So this -1 has a magnet in it and a couple different threads and cutouts. And yeah, this side is kind of machined flat. And then we also need a 48CA-2. One, 3, 2. And then you have the magnets, so we do like that. And then we have not like this, but like this. And then this gets butted into the end. Okay, I see how this goes together. And these look like they have mismatching colors of anodizing. Joel, thank you for the tip. Some of the screws are very brittle. Snap the heads off. Well, I mean, when your screws look like... Where are you at? The screws look like that with a head that's like 1.5 millimeters tall. Whew! I mean, that is a screw that very much is fragile. I can see where that is coming from, yeah. Whoop. Yep, building the enclosure while the print is doing its thing. Can't do much else anyway. So I'm gonna go very easy on the torque. And I guess you can't even replace these with standard socket or cap head screws. So I guess this would need to be flush. Or I guess you could always countersink or counterbore for a regular screw into this profile. That'll work. Wouldn't be very elegant, but it would work. So I guess these do make up for the structure of the entire enclosure, so them not being super strong isn't great, because I guess if I was to go like this now, or rip on this, I guess we could snap a screw head off fairly easily. Got a huge leverage here. I'm just gonna hope that this is gonna hold up. -4. -4. And we need the cutouts. There's one, there's another facing this way. It's a Snapmaker. Yeah, I'm still very much disappointed that nothing snapped into place yet. However, I'm also very happy that nothing snapped yet on this machine, such as a screw snapping its screw head off. Ooh, Nicola, random question. What is your people's favorite microcontroller? Yeah, I would want to know that. I'm very much a fan of the ESP32 because you can actually get them. Like, well, at least last I bought some, they weren't too hard to get. STM32 seems to be a bit of a unicorn. But yeah, ESP32, that's my favorite right now. At least that might change, but it does everything. It's got Wi-Fi. But I guess Teensy is based on ESP30. No, what is Teensy based on? Nah, that's, I have no idea what Teensy's based on. You guys will have to fill me in there. And then add one more of the 24-4. It's almost like it's singing a bit of a song over there. Da -da -da, da -da -da. ESP8266 and ESP32 is what I consider the big boy controllers. Huh. Well, Nicola, so here's the thing. When you're doing hobby electronics, you're not optimizing for cost much, right? When you have a project you're going to be spending hours on, you're very rarely worried about spending another $4 to upgrade to an ESP8266. Well, those aren't even that much. But how much is an ESP32? Those are like $6 for a board. So what I do is I just grab the ESP32 and I use it for everything. Because the time saved for having Wi-Fi baked in, for having access to stuff like MicroPython, I think that is well worth the upfront investment. Even though, yes, very much, it is overkill. It is overkill for most stuff people run on it. But just the convenience and I don't need to learn assembly to program this thing factor. I can just write super inefficient Python code. I think that is worth a lot to people. Does the anodizing have a very slight purple tint to it? WhiteB68 is confirming, and Animation Creations is asking. So to my naked eye, this has a very, very slight purple tint. So like barely noticeable. It's more like a gunmetal kind of thing, though. Honestly, if you compare that profile to the one I'm going to slide into frame in a second, right after I try not to snap this head of the screw. If you compare it to that profile, this one is more of a neutral gray look, and these are in fact somewhat purplish. So yeah, it's not just the angle. There we go. That gives you a pretty good. I'm impressed by these Sony cameras, by the way. So I got a bunch of so main camera, A camera is my A7S III with a bunch of LUTs and stuff. But these extra cameras, Sony ZV-1, €400 per camera, and they have a great image. Colors are awesome out of the camera. Don't need to do anything to it. Yeah, this looks on my screen. These are factory calibrated Dell screens. This looks exactly as it looks to my naked eye. So yeah, it does have a slight purple tint to it. Yeah. I am very short on space. Attached, the touchscreen holder. Does this thing have a front and a back? It does. Where is front and back? So I guess the side with the one. Okay, they do point that out. So there. I don't have threads here. Because I assembled this one backwards, apparently. Okay. So the threads, this is the spot for the phone holder, I guess. I tried so hard. And I got so far. Yeah. As always, in the end, it didn't even matter. Managed to assemble it backwards. Guess I'm just gonna assemble it right side up, or the way it's intended to be assembled first, and then I can flip it around, just to make sure we're not messing it up again. Nicola responding to, you're not the right thread. You shouldn't thread in here. Nicola is responding to Ryan. So I guess from what I can tell, this is not the same enclosure for the 250 and the 350 model. They share the same manual. They are built in exactly the same way, and these beams are called 350 in the manual, but the beams that I have say 250, so I would assume it is just a scaled down version of the exact same case for this smaller 250. Mr. Kresh says yes, 400 bucks. Got him on sale from PhotoCust, I think, or something. Yo, Joe, you missed a bit. You missed a bit. I know. Screen usually shouldn't be facing inwards either, so. I assembled it wrong. I know. Mr. Kretschers, I think the ZV-1 even has a USB webcam mode. I think it's 1080p 30 only, or something like that. But yeah, super convenient. Obviously I'm using these with a capture card because this stream is true 4K, except for the zoom didn't use. Those are cropped from 4K, but yeah, if you want to use it as a webcam, I think that would be one of the best webcams you can get. Joel, don't worry about it. You've got other things to do than to watch my streams. No need to apologize. You did that too. Okay. Apparently the manual should be clearer then, or we just both suck at reading manuals then. I know I do. No screw snapped so far, so yeah, that's going well. Quick check-in on the print. It's still a print. Let's give you a nicer background. Yeah. It still is a print and it's about to bridge. So far overhangs do look very good, I have to say. One more screw to install. Where did I put that? There. Nicola, if you do want to order some of this beautiful Prussiament pineapple yellow, make sure to use the link toms3d.org/Prussiament for 0% off. It's just an affiliate link. But yeah, Prussia actually lets me say that. Using those gives a kickback to the channel and helps support this entire thing. With no extra cost to you. Amazon doesn't actually let you say that. They will kick you out of their affiliate program and keep all the unpaid earnings if you say something like that. But for Prussia, that's fine. Okay. Beams. Okay, while I grab the rest of these beams, These, what are you? -2, -3. Who's asking? Trevor's asking, do I think that the Prusa XL is going to have any sort of laser cutting or milling features? I don't think so. I don't think it's built for that. It's built to be a hopefully good 3D printer. And while you could slap a laser onto a 3D printer, Prusa are a EU company, and I'm sure they are aware of the liability implications and sales restrictions that come with laser tools that are not properly built. I doubt they're going to go for that. And as far as CNCing goes, if you go for a CNC capable setup, you are making compromises with 3D printing. You are making a less capable 3D printer if you also account for it being able to CNC mill. So that's what the Snapmaker is, right? It's a jack of all trades, master of none. It's not a, from what I can tell, it's not a top-notch 3D printer. That, or even that, but like that's what happens when you build something that is just supposed to be a 3D printer, right? You get that. So Prusa XL is more along the lines of this than it is along the lines of this. So I don't think they're going to add too much extra stuff into it. The E3D tool changer is kind of going that route where it's saying, okay, we've got tools that are not just an additive head, but they're also adding with a symbol, which is a very light-duty CNC cutter head that they're adding in, which means they can trim out their 3D prints to size, which is exclusively cutting plastic. So for them, that kind of works. They're also adding cameras and other stuff that doesn't produce any forces. So that kind of works. With the XL, I don't think that they are intended to be like a master of none. Yes, I know. Still better than a master of one. I know how the rest of that goes. Though, honestly, is that white bee? Does that apply here? Is it better? I guess that's something that I'm going to have to look at or look into for the review of this machine eventually. Is it better to have a jack of all trades, better than a master of one machine, which is the Snapmaker? Is that better to have like a machine that tries to be a 3D printer and the laser, which kind of, that's not too big of a stretch, but also a CNC? Are you making too many compromises because you can get a better 3D printer for a fraction of the price than the Snapmaker? That's really what it comes down to. And then do you just get a dedicated laser for a couple $100, and do you get a dedicated CNC for a couple $100? And is that package going to make an overall better experience? Unless you're like super limited on space and this machine is the only thing you can fit. Like that of course is a consideration that will have to go into this. So that's the side with the more complex thingamabob, whatever that is. That is some sort of electrical device that I simply do not know what it is. Could be an infrared light. I honestly don't know. But that goes here, okay. With the wire facing up. So like, that? Yes, oh, we're doing bridging, this is interesting. Bridging is looking very nice. You guys can see it, but that is pretty much a perfect bridge. So They do have their settings tuned in, I have to give them that much. Door open closed. Ender 3 S1, S1 Pro. Peter, I don't know if you've asked before, or if you're the second or third person asking about this. Don't have one yet. I don't know. So what's the deal with the S1 or S1 Pro? Is that another crowdfunding thing of Crealities? If so, then it's gonna be a while until I review it, and by the time that I do review it, it's just not gonna be interesting anymore. But if it's a normal printer, then maybe. I am kind of tired of doing Ender 3 reviews, but that is what the internet wants, and apparently I do have to make content that people will actually watch. So yeah, solid maybe from me. These do not have an orientation to them, it looks like. So all these holes are drilled and tapped from all sides. It appears, and they are symmetrical, both sides symmetrical. So the only thing I have to line up is to make sure that these are, well, these are also tapped on all four sides. So I don't even have to line anything up here. There is a preferred screw direction diagonally towards the inside, so I am going to try to follow that. Oh, so Joel's review comes out on Saturday, which means I'm not going to review it, because by the time I get it and test it and unbox it and everything, it's going to be old news, and Creality is already going to have released 4 new printers. So that's going to be a solid no for me then. Maybe the next machine. Next Reality releases, it's not going to be too long. Thank you for the tip, Roy. Well, glad I got you into something that you're enjoying. Glad that you are enjoying 3D printing, and I'm happy to have gotten you into it. So, thank you for that. So these all screw in diagonally into the base here. Oh, look at that pulsation. 2 screws from the back. And then these just stick up like that. There's a bit of a tight fit on this one. So far, no screw heads snapped off. Just going awkwardly well. You know, so that machining on that one wasn't all that great. Did have to pull this one tight. Oh yeah, and this one also needs to be tightened still.
Going to be in and out with work. Wanted to make sure I said thanks as always and send some milkshake funds your way.
Thank you for that, Joel. Too kind. That's, I mean, thank you. Most of all, thank you for joining in and being here. You don't have to, but always nice to see you around. Okay. What is the print doing? Oh, look at my lovely dry hands. These things have been so, I mean, yeah, just doing drywalling and that sort of stuff. Working with the fillers and are we missing? No, it's just I'm losing. Working with drywall mud and just soaks all the moisture out of your hands. Take care of your skin, folks. And we're assembling another top rectangular frame. Okay. So the problem now is I'm gonna have to figure out some place where I can put this this frame while I assemble the other frame. So I guess you are going. Those sounds though. You are going over here. There's not that many beams left. There's only 4 left. So I'm going to assemble these, and by the time this is going to be assembled, the print is going to be done too. So 94%, 4 minutes 30 left. Okay, I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to try to beat the printer and probably misassemble half of the stuff, but it's only one way to find out. Who's going to be faster? 1. 1. LEDs facing this way. Oh, I hope I got the LEDs facing the correct way on the others. Three minutes. Are those minutes shorter than usual? Two minutes 45, come on. One minute 53, okay, can do this. Now for the next one of these builds, I'm just going to grab my Makita Impact driver. It's going to be flying through these screws, like literally through these screws. "54 seconds. "28. It's even making noises as if it's speeding up. Can you guys hear that? It's like it's more high pitched now. No, that wasn't 28 seconds. That wasn't fair. But it's still moving. One screw short. One screw short. Almost. But I think I did assemble this one correctly, at least. Okay, let me get this out of the way, and I'm going to give you a close-up view of what we got out of this print. Elapsed time, 1 hour 27. Somebody check that. Somebody double check that on the on the stream. Was that really 1 hour 27, or is that literally just the prediction from the slicer? So before I pull this up to the camera, one thing that I did already notice about the Snapmaker is that there is no place to really grip it. You can't, like the Prusa's have this convenient top cross frame bar that you can hold on to. It's not super comfortable because it's just 6mm aluminum, but that's fine. This thing, no place to grab it, because this is the literal Z-axis beam. This is like you're grabbing it here on the X-axis beam, I guess. So you can't really grab it there, so you're always going to have to grab it by the frame somehow, by the bottom frame. If you just grab it here, you're just moving up the Z-axis, the X cross brace. So that's a bit of a downside, though I guess these things have some threads in the top. You could put something up here if you wanted to. 1 hour 27. 1 hour 27. Okay. Thank you guys for checking. Yes, Nicola and Fragment. This is my full-time job. This is very much my full-time job, and it has been for 5 or 6 years now. It's been a while. This is my job. My mom works for me part-time, so I do have half an employee, and the plan with the new studio is to actually hire 2 more half people. I know part-time students or something who can work on content with me. Whatever that content's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be the same YouTube style content, but it is going to be some sort of content, I think. Maybe? I don't know. Where are we at? There we go. So let's have a close-up look at this Benchy. Oh, actually, before we take a look at the Benchy, let's take a look at the thermals. Thank you so much for the tip, Trevor. Glad I'm your favorite 3D printing YouTuber. Come on. I do have an Anycubic printer sitting in the box. I don't know if that one's actually released. I thought they said it was released, but it's like, So I do have an Anycubic printer that is going to be unboxed sometime in the coming weeks, but I have not specifically looked at the Anycubic Photon Ultra. Yeah, TI does make a specific. Oh, that is quite warm, I think. TI does make a specific 3D printing DOP chip, and I think I've talked to Stefan about that on the Melt Zone. Oh, that by the way, that in the center there, that's just the reflection of my arm. Nope, I need to move that camera, not that one. So yeah, Anycubic Photon Ultra. Not looked at it yet. I'm trying to do too many things at the same time. So yeah, what I was noticing is these profiles, they do get warm to the touch. So these are 26 degrees. These are basically heat sinks for the motor. And I guess if we look at that, yeah, we can see where the motors are located. So the X-axis has the motor in the right side. Z-axis looks like it's in the bottom. And then these Y-axis modules towards the back. At least that's what it looks like to me. Yeah. These have the motors in the back. So these do get warm somewhat, but not toast or anything. What is that back there? Oh, that's the extra camera. And then the heated bed looks like it's a bit more even now that it's cooling down, but it's not. I mean, it's even colder at the edges, but now that it's cooling down, it doesn't kind of matter anymore. What is ambient? Ambient is like 18 degrees according to the camera. Yeah, so let's call it 18 degrees, just so you get an idea of the temperature rise. All right. But that is what we want to take a look at. Okay, that came off fairly easily. So this is a flex, magnetic flex bed. By the way, in case you're wondering about the noise reduction, holy noise reduction though. Are you any better? If I zoom you in. Yeah, so that's what this looks like. This entire bed is just a back and forth track. There is nothing special about how these tracks are laid out. So I'm kind of wondering why we saw this super weird pattern. So it looks like that's where one of the zones start. So this is one zone. Then this is another, and then from here on out, this is another. Okay, so it looks like these zones in the front and back. Oh, you guys can see, sorry. So looking at, so that there's a bus bar basically this way and this way. And we've got this piece being one zone. And then this piece is one zone, and then this is another zone. It looks like this center zone is actually wider. Maybe not though. Nah, it might be playing tricks on me. But it's three zones basically that are all fed off of the same bus bar. But yeah, looks like the center zone is just getting significantly less warm. It might not be that it's getting less current or anything, but it might just be that it is thermally coupled to whatever differently. So there is our benchy. Try and hold still. So there is some, this yellow color is kind of hard to show though. What are we looking at for a benchy? So the first thing we look at, I guess because I've already got it in this orientation, is the bow up here. As we drop it. Oh God, that is super hard to show. So this bow, no curling, sorry about my fingers. No curling, you can see those layers are very nice and flat. Let me try and hide my fingers, they look atrocious. No curling there. No bulging at the sides. So part cooling, very good. Very good part cooling, zero curling at all. Or it might just be that this hot end is reading way too low temperatures and we were printing at like 180 or something. But overhangs look good, top surface. Trying to not get my filthy fingers in frame and showing you this benchy is kind of hard. Top surfaces look very good as well. There's a bit of a dragging spot back there. But yeah, everything is filled in. That looks good. So what I did notice during the print was that the sides to the doors, maybe I can get the light to reflect a bit, yeah, down there maybe. Those aren't super consistent, but it's not bad. What you can also see on the side of the bow here typically is any sort of ringing. So it looks like the infill is kind of poking through just a bit. But these edges, so the benchy has a little lip, or a little rim going all the way across. That is very sharp all around. So ringing, and also this door, the rim that goes around that door, typically gets kind of smoothed out on one side and less smooth on the other. And this is quite crisp. There is a bit of smoothing going on, but yeah, you can tell that this is a very rigid motion system, just in general. The text in the back, if we can get it to focus on that text in the back, and maybe we can shine a bit of light on it. Not really. Yeah. There is a bit of surface imperfections visible on the side, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Stringing, you can see in the center there, yeah. You can see it in the center there. Is just a bit of fuzziness, but that might just be the filament. That may have been sitting outside for a bit too long. Overall, this is a good print. This is a very respectable benchy. It was done on the low set, or the quick print setting, but this is a good print. Very good first result. Almost no lip on the bottom. Good benchy. Good benchy. Not perfect, not super duper awesome, but very good, very respectable, especially for the fast print settings. Yeah. Oh yeah, bottom text captured. That's kind of a given, and that very much depends on how you adjust your first layer. So if you really go hard down with the nozzle on the first layer, then that text is going to be gone. But yeah, that's something that that actually depends on you as the operator, how you set your first layer. Adhesion also seems to be good with this surface. So that I don't like. That is the ooze that happens during heat up, and it just smooshes it into the skirt. Still sticks even after it's cooled down. So this stuff should be a fairly reliable surface, though I don't know how well it's going to work for PETG, ABS. Probably flexibles are just going to stick too well in PETG maybe as well, but I have not tried that yet. Looks good. That's a good print. What am I missing in chat? Can you print that on the surface? Nope. You cannot. Actually, do not print directly on that surface. That you might actually. Oh God, that is so much better. Don't have to yell anymore. Actually, you can print onto FR4, and this is FR4. This is just regular solder resist that you have on top. You should be able to print onto this. Prints should stick. I think I have printed onto, but I don't know if it was in solder resist or it was just bare FR4. But you can print onto this stuff, and some materials will stick. The problem is just that if you do an oopsie, you're going to slice through one of the heating tracks and you're not going to have a good time after that. Yeah. I think that is all there is to say about this for now. 3D printing works really well. I don't know how. Hold on, we do have a spare hot end. This is an all metal hot end, isn't it? Nope. At least it looks like it has some sort of a liner in it. I wouldn't need to take this apart, but I think this is not an all-metal hot end. That heat break is looking a bit too wide for me to actually be an insulator. So if we, or an insulator, a good enough insulator by itself, if we grab some filament, kind of like put that next to it. I don't know. The wall thickness, it could be an all-metal hot end, but it's going to have pretty thick wall thickness. Anyway, that is going to be it for today. That's all I have to say about this machine. It 3D prints, it does the job. Still very much overbuilt for a 3D printer. So I think the next stream, we're going to finish out the enclosure. So also overbuilt, just like everything else about this setup. We're going to finish out the enclosure, and I think we're going to try the laser features with this thing. There was some sample material included. I'm going to try and grab some of my own wood for this and engrave this. I don't want to do too much plastic in here because this is an indoors room. There is a ventilation unit in here, but I don't have any way to attach this to like the outside to vent outside with fumes. Okay, there we go. That's it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you everyone who just joined in, kept me company. Thanks to everyone who tipped. I'm trying to say something nice here, but yeah, I'm done for today. Get subscribed, Patreon, YouTube memberships, all that. You know about that. Thanks for being here, and I will see you all in the next one. And like I said, the next video is actually going to be from the new studio, but it might be a while out, so a couple live streams until then. Bye-bye.